Welcome back to Pastry Maestra. I'm Teresa and today I'm making fondant icing. Word fondant, when translated from French, means melting. Fondant icing, also called poured fondant, is white, dough-like mixture that is constituted of very fine sugar crystals connected with concentrated syrup. It is made by cooking sugar and glucose with water until the syrup reaches the temperature between 112 centigrade, which is 230 Fahrenheit, and 120 centigrade, which is 250 Fahrenheit, depending on its purpose. When you put sugar and water into a saucepan, it is important that you get rid of all the crystals of sugar from the sides of the pan. Also, you need a candy thermometer to measure the right temperature. If you don't have a thermometer, it is possible to determine the stage of cooked sugar syrup by putting a small amount of the hot syrup into iced water. All about this and much more you can learn from my post about cooking sugar syrup. The link is down below. You should distinguish fondant icing or poured fondant from rolled fondant, a dough-like mixture of sugar, gelatin and food-grade glycerin, widely used for decorating wedding cakes and birthday cakes. This type of fondant is usually rolled like a dough and used to cover cake, but it is also suitable for making flowers, ribbons and other edible decorations. If you want to learn more about that, check my post about rolled fondant. The link is also in the description below. Now, fondant icing or poured fondant doesn't look as pourable as you might think. Actually, after you wrap it in foil and leave it to rest, it becomes quite hard. But don't worry, it should look like that. All you need to do is heat it in your double boiler or bain-marie as it is usually called. The optimal temperature for using poured fondant is between 30 and 34 centigrade, which is between 86 and 93 degrees Fahrenheit. If heated to higher temperatures, it loses the shine because its structure changes. The best method is to heat the fondant icing gently over bain-marie. My advice is never to leave it unattended. You are going to add some simple syrup, approximately 5 to 10% to fondant icing, in order to make it more liquid. Once melted and diluted, fondant icing is used for glazing cakes and small pastries. There, that was the theory, and now I'll show you how to make fondant icing from scratch. As usual, recipes on my site, the link is down below. To make fondant icing, I'm gonna put sugar and water into a saucepan and put a lid on. When my syrup boils, the steam will wash down any sugar crystals from the sides of the pan. My syrup is boiling. I'm gonna remove the lid, add the glucose, insert a probe of my digital candy thermometer into the syrup and continue cooking. I'm gonna make firmer fondant, so when my syrup reaches 117 degrees centigrade, which is 242 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm gonna remove the saucepan from the stove and transfer my syrup into a bowl of a stand mixer fitted with paddle attachment. There I'm gonna leave it to cool to 37 degrees centigrade, which is 98 degrees Fahrenheit. My syrup has cooled to 37 degrees centigrade, which is 98 degrees Fahrenheit. And now I'm gonna mix it on low speed until the mixture forms fine small crystals and becomes dough-like in pure white color. My fondant icing is done. I'm gonna wrap it in cling film while it's still warm and leave it to rest for 24 hours before use. I'm Teresa. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it. If you want to stay in touch, follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and of course, visit my site, where you can find elaborate posts with lots of pictures, additional information and recipes that follow my every video. Also, on my site you can download my free 365 pages ebook The Pastry Chef and maybe buy me a macaron. if you think that I've earned it. Now, before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps a lot. Finally, and this is the most important thing, don't forget to create sweetness every day, because sweetness is happiness. See you in my next video. Bye!